Paul Sheldon is a famous romance novelist. Annie Wilkes is the author's #1 fan. When an automobile accident brings Paul and Annie together, misery changes both their lives. James Caan and Kathy Bates star in this suspenseful psychological thriller, directed by Rob Reiner. Misery is a second teaming of Reiner with Academy Award-winning screenwriter William Goldman, who wrote The Princess Bride.
They open. The whole point is that they find the car with the door open, and their assumption is that he crawled out of the car.
It's also a second herring with Stephen King, who wrote both the books for Reiner's sleeper hit Stand By Me and Misery.
The theme of the book is what really most drew me to it. It's about a writer who has become very successful writing a certain kind of book and desperately wants to break away from that mold.
Misery Chastain put braces on your daughter's teeth and is putting her through college. Bought you 2 houses and floor seats to the Knicks. And what thanks does she get? You go and kill her.
I never meant for it to become my life.
He has this need to deprostitute himself. He does so by killing off this heroine that he's had 9 bestsellers, you know, about. He kills her off so that he can't go back to it. And then he meets his #1 fan.
Will I be able to walk?
Of course you will. And your arm will be fine, too. Your shoulder was pretty badly dislocated. It was a little stubborn, but I finally popped it back in. What I'm most proud of is the work I did on those legs. You have a compound fracture of the tibia in both legs, and the fibula in the right leg is fractured, too. You've got a lot of recovering to do. And I consider it an honor that you'll do it in my home. I want to say all sorts of things like, oh, Annie's a psychopath and Annie's a... But it's hard being Annie to say those things because she's not aware of all that stuff about herself. The main reason I've never been more popular is because of my temper.
She's crazy, and her craziness is slowly revealed, and it's like we said when we were writing the screenplay, you know, it's pot luck anytime Annie enters a room. You don't know what you're going to get. This really is more of a suspense thriller than it is a horror movie. There are elements of horror in it, but very a limited amount. Basically, it boils down to a kind of a cat and mouse chess game between these 2 people who are thrown together in this odd situation.
Oh, it's so romantic!
We do take our time with the film, and that to me is what's good about it, because the tension just builds slowly, slowly. So it's like a noose tightening around your neck.
Annie, whatever you're thinking about doing, please don't do it.
It's for the best. God, I love you.
I never missed an audition because of the fire department, because of the flexibility with the hours.
In the early 1980s, Jack McGee led a double life. Part of the time, he was a New York City firefighter.
I love the camaraderie. I love doing positive things for people. There was something else that I wanted to do, and it was the acting.
Hoping he'd be hot in Hollywood, the Bronx-born fireman took a leave of absence and moved to California.
I've had about 30 jobs in 30 months, an average of a job, and I have 2 of them coming up. Hopefully things will keep going along the way they are.
Jack can be seen this fall in his first major supporting role with Shirley MacLaine and Terry Garr in a film called Waiting for the Light.
I play a character by the name of Slim Slater. He's I don't know why they chose me. He's an investigative reporter from Chicago who comes to cover a story about a miracle back in 1962. And Shirley MacLaine is a feisty old girl. Man, she is great. I mean, I just loved her. And that film is special. Business is good, huh?
No complaints except for nuns.
You know, we should talk.
I don't have time now. Maybe later.
Oh, no time. I know, because you're selling candles, right? A lot of red candles. I have a ball. I mean, when I'm not working, I can sometimes be, I'm miserable. I miss it a lot because I like being around people.
And everyone on the set of the appropriately titled Crash and Burn enjoyed working with the fun-loving ex-fireman.
I like being around the crew. The crews on shows, they're the ones that do the work. I mean, we don't, you know, we go out and we get the accolades, I guess, and stuff. And people go, oh, they see you on a 70-foot screen. When I went back east this past Christmas, my nieces had 13 or 15 of their girlfriends at the house one day. And it was like at a press conference. Do you know this one? Do you know that one? They asked me if I knew the new kids on the block. Yeah, I said, oh yeah, I hang out with the new kids on the block all the time.
At 7, Jack became the family celebrity, appearing in the original Broadway production of The Music Man. But nothing's brought him the neighborhood fame that Hollywood has. At first, his fellow firemen teased him.
Until I found out how much money I made at it. When they found out how much money they made at it, then they all wanted an agent. You know, they all wanted to be down there. They all wanted to just, you know, get hooked up with the show business act. You're working, you're glad to be working. But I don't consider myself a movie star. It's a kick to have your friends and family think that. I'm just glad to be here.
About Last Night was my first film. I think it was a turning point for me personally as well. I mean, it's professionally, definitely, because it got me seen. Personally, I think I was very fortunate to have worked with Ed Zwick, the director of About Last Night, on my first picture, because I was spoiled from that point on, because he is really an actor's director, and you don't find that a lot. I found it with Barry Levinson. I found it with Penny Marshall. She was very much the same way, in that they truly respect the art of the performance and what an actor needs and what an actor goes through.
He's one of America's favorite actors.
Devastatingly handsome. A righteous dude.
He's Matthew Broderick, and we've got him. Starring in a trilogy of favorite roles that have made him one of Hollywood's top stars. First, Dustin Hoffman and Sean Connery co-star in Family Business. Then, everyone's after
Ferris.
Bueller. Why?
Taking the day off.
And running away with one of your favorite movies, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And finally, Harvey Fierstein and Anne Bancroft co-star in the touching, tempestuous Torch Song Trilogy. The Matthew Broderick triple feature, Tuesday, December 4th, starting at 8, 7 Central on the Movie Channel.
In America, there's an armed robbery every 65 seconds, a murder every 24 minutes, and 250 assaults a day. Is there any answer?
Call the Cobra.
I'll blow this whole place up!
Go ahead. I don't shop here.
Sylvester Stallone.
Your history.
Cobra. Playing Sunday on the Movie Channel.
You're watching the Movie Channel. All movies, all the time.
Hollywood. From a distance, it looks like any other town. But it's not. Probably nowhere else on Earth do so many people share the same dream. The dream of driving onto the studio lot to work on a picture, maybe their picture. Miles away in Long Beach, California, Randy Hall drives home from work. He may earn a living at a collection agency, but Randy has a few dreams too.
Every spare moment I've had, I've been writing. Sometimes at work, I'll be writing at lunch, I'll be writing while I'm on hold, on a phone, that kind of thing.
In the past 10 years, he has written 22 scripts. His most promising, Samurai Cowboy, the story of a martial arts expert from Yokohama who pursues a country music career in Texas. For Randy Hall, writing is a snap compared to getting his script read in Hollywood.
I actually climbed a fence of an agent who was out of the office for lunch, and I stuffed my scripts in his mailbox.
Producer, story director, it's Mike Johnson. Yes, we'll be out in 3 weeks. You're very welcome. If there's anything else we can do, just give us a call. Thanks.
Back in Hollywood, Mike Johnson can sympathize with Randy Hall. A writer himself, he worked in the 20th Century Fox commissary as his way to meet people of influence.
Mark Hamill got a little upset at me and threw a sandwich on top. He was coming off of Star Wars and hit me with a sandwich on top of the head. I guess my service wasn't quite fast enough. Maybe I was spending a little too much time at another table trying to hawk a script.
Mike Johnson figured there had to be a better way for writers to get Hollywood's attention. So he and a partner created the Producer's Story Directory. Writers send in a form including a brief synopsis of their script, plus where they can be reached. Entries cost $100. Johnson then distributes the directories quarterly to more than 3,000 producers and agents.
We were very surprised, caught off guard at the tremendous need that was out there. It basically began expanding far faster than we ever had anticipated.
And so the directories have gotten fatter and fatter. Johnson says writers can spend $100 sending 10 scripts to 10 producers.
And as one writer said, he said, the thing I like about being in your directory is I know when the phone's ringing, they're calling up because they want to see what I've got, not to reject me.
So what happened when Randy Hall sent in his synopsis for Samurai Cowboy?
All kinds of people called me, like agents and producers and development people from different studios and things.
Ah, yes, the studios, where thousands of scripts can pour in each month, where readers spend all day looking for the next Chinatown. They appreciate the digest format of the directory, too. They can quickly leaf through looking for that germ of something special, or maybe not. Take Gums, the geriatric Jaws, about a toothless old shark that lives off a small beach and survives on a strict diet of string bikinis.
It's handy to have the short form. Nobody likes to read. Nobody likes to read 120 pages and find out it's a bad idea.
Recently, Randy Hall enjoyed sharing a Beverly Hills lunch with an actor interested in Samurai Cowboy. Meantime, from his small apartment in Long Beach, he keeps on writing and believing.
I've always been one to go against the odds. When I was back in the Navy, I became a disc jockey over like maybe 500 hopefuls. So I figure if I can, beat the military at their game, I can beat Hollywood at their game too.
Take a look at a preview of a movie now playing in theaters around the country. Today, it's priceless. But a century ago, Van Gogh's own brother could not sell his work.
You always have to go so far on principle, Vincent. I think if you do something, you should do it properly, don't you?
Two Van Goghs with one obsession.
You sell them, you don't paint them?
My brother's a painter. That's one of his there.
Each living for Vincent's art.
I'm coming to Paris. I really don't think you're ready. Oh, when do you think I'm ready then? I don't know. Never, probably.
One devoted to it.
So aggravating. Working for people who only care about money. You say, I have my own tastes, and I have to be my own man.
The other consumed by it. Both prepared to sacrifice everything.
You'd better marry a rich wife.
For the creations that would outlive them.
That's the only hope for an artist.
To become the most valuable artworks of all time.
What are you actually doing to sell my paintings? You don't tell me what my job is. And don't you tell me there's a market for my work.
Critically acclaimed director Robert Altman brings to the screen an extraordinary exploration of two kinds of genius. One called Vincent, one called Theo. Both named Van Gogh. A portrait by Robert Altman.
This man can't hear, you see.
I'm deaf!
This man can't see, you hear?
You mean I'm not white?
Now they're wanted for murder.
Don't tell me you didn't hear anything, because he heard it. And you don't tell me you didn't see anything, because he saw it.
And their biggest handicap is each other.
Where'd you learn to lip breathe? Underwater? Where are you going?
Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. See no evil, hear no evil. Shh. Playing Wednesday on the Movie Channel. He's come home to visit his ailing parents.
I just wanted to say how happy I am to see the family together.
He may at last discover the meaning of love
Been terrific for him, John.
and parenthood.
Why was making money always more important to you than me or Mom?
Ted Danson, Jack Lemmon,
Since I got out of the hospital, I have had such fun.
Olympia Dukakis.
Something has happened to him. This man is not your father.
A story of a family discovering itself. Dad. Coming soon on the Movie Channel.
Hey everybody, it's movie channel time.